people actually know what that is? Anybody? You guys? Do the youngins in the audience know what that is?
Yeah, that's from Biohazard, right? Fallout. No. Mass Effect. No. Half-Life.
I know some kid, he must have been about 11 years old, came in for a voiceover session, and then he had a t-shirt with a tape cassette on it. And I'm like, you don't even know what that is. Yes, I do. It's called a dingle.
It's a spindle adapter.
Or 45.
45 records had a bigger, you pardon the expression, a bigger hole. You put that in there in order to play it correctly. But most of us lost those things, and we tried to cheat, and then the record would start out fine, and then
yeah, I remember those.
Those are the days. You know what's sad is we still have a couple of our houses, an old house, so we had a couple of the prong phone plug-ins. Do you
Oh, yeah.
They had the 4-prong plug-ins, and the phone man had never seen that before. Wow.
That is.
Oh my. We have to
Should we kill the stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go back.
I'd love to have the mic, but you know. You don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Unless we all want to get a migraine by then.
otherwise we're having like over telephone next change.
Yeah.
He does that too well.
Alright, thank God.
Hello.
Who are you?
Better living through technology.
Introduce yourself, man.
Hi, greetings everyone. My name is Crispin Freeman. Wow.
Is that all week?
And I am one of the triumvirate that is here for the Ghost in the Shell panel. That's all right.
I get it.
And to my left is Boss Man.
Boss Man!
That's our play. Bateau.
Bateau!
I'm Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, and I play Major Motoko Kusama.
I know you better as Hot Eyes Hilda.
Well, I know you better. Yeah. Yes! We need the bug run. Oh, that's a fun story. The first voiceover job I ever really had.
Here, hold this.
I was hired to go in and audition for the show The Wanderer. And the woman who was playing Queen of the Bugger Empire had left town. So I went in doing a take-on voice. You know, come get. And it was sort of a full-on take-on. And then I was cast on Star Trek Voyager, which was awesome, because 4 hours makeup later I looked like a sea monkey, which was awesome. And went in, and the last day I was in med lab, and Kate Mulgrew walked in. And she sat down and she goes, "So, how was your time on Voyager?" This close to going, "I've had a wonderful time." So we went to the Star Trek show in Vegas, like the last weekend of the Star Trek experience at the Hilton. And there was a whole, like, the board chasing you and everything. And Kate Mulgrew was up in the thing going, "Thank you, we hope you enjoyed your time here on Voyager. Get out." And these two kids were in front of us, and they were really into it. And I just stood behind them. I said, "Well, that was sort of an amazing experience." They freaked out.
That's cool.
So that was really fun.
Yeah.
I can't believe somebody remembers that.
Can I give you a...
Back in 1824.
I did that on the Pirates of the Caribbean line.
Yeah.
Because I did the voice match for Will Turner.
Oh.
My name is Will Turner. My father was Bootstrap Bill Turner.
That's why those seeds are soiled.
Can I
That's your question.
No,
Oh my God, no. Your bag. Your bag.
Goodie bag.
That's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. Wow.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
That is so cool.
Did you make this?
I painted those things, and you can wash them by hand washing or dishwash.
Wow.
That is-
My great favorite.
The characters
Yes.
like so, and Major Buzanagi.
And Captain Tyler.
This is so, thank you so much.
And you got some candies and
This is
whatnot.
the coolest thing I've ever got.
That is actually from your scene when you're like chasing after this drug dealer or whatnot, and he's taking a whiz.
And
You open the door, you say, "Hi."
Yes,
Yes, I had to do
I hope he was done peeing when I put him.
What's your name?
Chris.
Thank you.
Chris, thank you.
No problem.
That is
Thank you.
awesome.
I have one
Did you
for.
sign it or anything?
Yes, it's actually signed.
You know, it's so nice, you know, through the years when we've done these convention stuff, people give us these wonderful things. This is the best thing I've ever gotten, I gotta tell you that.
Oh.
But a lot of times they'll give you pictures of something, and they don't sign it, and you go, you don't know who
Yeah.
did it, and it's like, you know, it's just
Yeah,
nice to...
I mean, Kristen already has one of my pictures from last year. It was
Yeah.
Epcar like this,
Yep.
and it's signed on the back.
That is so cool. I'll have my morning coffee.
Oh. That's my little band, which I lost already. No replacements, thank you very much.
No problem.
You guys have any questions?
Oh my God. But wait, there's more. If you act now.
You all three have that and grape
I
candies.
love those.
Oh.
I love those.
You gotta try the grape candies then.
Any candy that's made from a cow's milk, I love.
That is kryptonite.
Thank you very much. Yes, you in the back.
Like, can I ice cream for that? Thank you.
I'll let you take that first.
No.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was words. There were some very difficult words to say. Sujisaki was one of them, and most of us had a lot of trouble with Sujisaki. In fact, Bill Knight had the most incredible trouble with
Major.
Sujisaki. It's Sujisaki. Sujisaki. Spooky Baki. Apparently, there's rumors that he could not get it done at all.
Remember right.
I think the hardest one for me, and my favorite episode is actually Jungle Cruise. Only because it was so dark and terrifying, and I had a really vivid Jack the Ripper dream, which was kind of like that, like he forced you to watch one, and skin you alive. And it was really hard for me as an actor to not put my own emotion in there, because it's touchy subject matter to have that much violence against women, and so that was really awkward for me. They kept saying, pull back the emotion, Mary, it's not you, it's Motoko, and I said, I know, but even she would feel something.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Bato is better than I am, because I would have just shot him as soon as I got away. But he's an honest cop, and he did the right thing by bringing him in.
It was not good with the dog at all. I'm just saying.
Hey, the dog's cute.
But yeah, no, that was my favorite episode also. But awkward moments in the booth. There's only one awkward moment that I can think of that comes to mind when people ask me that question, and that's I was stuck. It had nothing to do with Ghost in the Shell. It was some other show we were doing, and I was in the booth with Mike Sorge and Cy Prescott. And Mike, I don't know if you know anything about Mike, but my nickname for him was Gaseous Clay, because this guy lets him rip every 5 seconds. What this guy eats, I don't want to know what he eats. But we're stuck in a little booth about the size of this table, and he was letting him rip every minute, and Cy was laughing like a hyena every time. I thought to myself, this is hell. Hell is life. So,
He asphyxiated by Michael.
and so I get out, and the client said to me, he said, you were in there with the gas man and the village idiot. That was pretty accurate. Yeah.
Well, I noticed she asked the most awkward moment of you two, but not Kristen. I'd like to hear one Kristen.
Crispin's never had an awkward one.
That would have to be a lie.
He's Golden Boy professional man.
Yes.
Actually,
That was a pretty awkward moment, actually.
Scratch, I was with me and Mary Elizabeth working on Wolf's Rain. It was at the last volume of Wolf's Rain. We had come in to record, and it's a sort of very emotional last episode of the show. And we're recording, and the engineer keeps saying that he keeps hearing this squeak noise. and he doesn't know what's making the noise. And he's like, do you have anything in there with you, a device or stealth? And I'm like, no. We finally figured out what it was. I was wearing this T-shirt that had a little bit of spandex or lycra in it or something, and every time I breathed in, it squeaked. And I didn't realize it was doing that. So they said, well, you have to take your shirt off. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I take my shirt off, but the studio we were recording at, Magnitude 8, the guy who runs it loves to keep it just freezing cold. And I don't like it cold, I like it warm. And so I'm just freezing, and I go, I gotta stay warm. And all I had was my leather jacket. So I grabbed my leather jacket, and I put it on, and now I look like Sume in Wolf's Rain. Leather jacket.
You're in character.
And yeah, I was on the other side of the glass going, okay, we're gonna go, oh God.
All I'm thinking is your pants are squeaking too. That's how I
Did he have a mouse in his pocket? Is that what happy to see you.
That's right.
Any other questions? Yes.
Hi, this is for all of you as guests coming to like metrocon and stuff. And when you sit down and then people are taking all pictures and everything, do you ever feel like animals in a zoo or something?
Answer that I have.
Aquarium. No,
Oh, not really. We love coming here. I mean, we love doing conventions because we literally sit in small, dark rooms with people farting all day long. No windows, suffering through shirtless Crispin. What we do is such an isolated little thing, and it's so self-contained in this little world, and then we don't have any idea what kind of reaction it's getting until we come out to conventions or festivals and meet you guys and get to talk about things that we've been working on. That is like, I hope somebody's watching this because we don't know. I mean, and I'm not a big get on the internet and find out, are we popular? Are we da-da-da-da-da? Because it's just, I'm just working all the time. So to come out and talk about, Wolf's Rain or Cowboy Bebop or Ghost in the Shell, these shows that I have loved forever. And, I sat and talked to these two girls about Yoko Kanno's music for 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Outside one day because I'm such a huge fan. I'm a big a fan as you guys. I'm just not I'm in the Mary costume, So,
You look really pretty in that dress.
Thank you very much.
Can you stand up so we can see it better?
Now I feel like I'm being a
Mary will be wearing her Calvin Klein dress.
Who are you wearing?
Yeah.
for Laura Bailey. She's the queen of our
That's a great title to have. Yes, Unibomber over there.
I'm trying to figure out, who were you in Robotech?
Who was I?
Yeah.
I was a lot of people. I was Ben Dixon. I was Lunk. I was Morel. And in the new one, I'm Captain Vince Grant.
Ooh.
The new one, the
Shadow Chronicles.
Are they actually making episodes, or is that just the movie?
Well, here's the deal. They were going to originally, when we did that, I co-directed that one also. We were going to do 4 more of those, and then they were going to start doing the series. But what happened was, Tobey Maguire's company and Warner Brothers bought the rights to do a live-action version of it. And because that happened, for some strange reason, part of the proviso of the contract was they put the animation stuff on the back burner, which I don't understand because they do Iron Man cartoons while Iron Man's going on. They do Wolverine while Wolverine. I think it's I think they help each other. It's marketing. Yeah, it's good marketing. They go hand in hand, but for whatever reason.
It's expressing people's minds. They're like, oh my gosh, I just watched that last week.
Yeah. Oh, the live action one's coming out. I have to see that too. Yeah. They don't compete at all. I don't
understand the reasoning, but that's kind of what the deal is, and we're all kind of sad. We'd like to do more of the animation, but unfortunately, I don't know when it's going to happen. It took them 20 years to do a sequel to the series, so hopefully it won't take another 20 years.
Hopefully we can actually see a 4th season.
I don't have to be carried into the booth, you know what I'm saying? It's a Robotech reunion!
I play Lunk. No, you play Lunk. That's right, I do. I just made Lunk in my pants.
The future Richard Richard Epcar.
I gotta go.
Yes.
You want to come with me to the panel? Hey, did you want to come with me to the panel?
I did, but now I'm really interested in
That's a great show. Have you guys been watching that? Yeah, I've just been promoted to chief psych.
There.
Worst chief ever, according to Jesus. Chief psych.
A very sane person.
Chief psychon.
Chief
I
Psycho.
love working on the show. It's so much fun. The cast is amazing, and they just have wonderful people. And Andrea Romano's directing it, and she's awesome, and it's just so cool to do. It's an original animation thing, so it's so much more fun for me really to go in there and just be the character and not have to worry about hitting the sink and all that stuff. So.
Are you at liberty to say if you're going to be if you've already done any season 2 recordings or no?
I don't know, so I'm not going to say anything. But because all this stuff is just very tenuous, and you don't want to make anyone angry. Even worse than that, I don't want to kick off the show, So I honestly don't know. I hope so, and I think people really like it. And I'm hoping it goes, 4 years like the original one. Well, I hope ours is 4 years.
My phone went off.
I hope ours is best by 1 year.
No, I mean, everyone always asks, can you tell us about things coming up?
Chris
can't,
Abbott.
because it's
It was my sister's
in the world of social
a bunch of
media,
tomatoes.
the fall that will come. There was a motion capture audition for Infamous 2, the famous video game, and the first guy who got it, he booked it, and he literally walked out of it, and he tweeted, "Hey, I'm the new guy in Infamous 2," and they fired him. Yeah. Because you're not supposed to talk about that yet. So everyone always asks, and we'd love to say, but we don't want to lose our job.
Fight Club.
Yeah, we'll want a Fight Club.
I'll never forget, this is a long, long time ago, but I had a buddy of mine, and I felt so bad for this guy. He was a struggling actor, and he worked and worked. And finally, he got a nice, big, juicy part on a soap, and he put an ad in Variety, and he put the CBS I logo on the ad, and because he did that, they fired him. And it's good to know if you ever are in that situation. You don't want to. And whenever I ask people about, Legend of Korra especially, I check through them. I said, can I announce this at the conventions? Can I tell them I'm in it? And at a certain point, they said you can tell them you're in it, but you can't say who you are. But now that the show's on the air, I can finally say who I am. No, you can't. So, it is frustrating for us too, believe me. I've got a bunch of games I'd love to talk about right now, but I can't. So, yeah.
The three of you working on Ghost in the Shell, lots of technical jargon.
Eric loves that part.
Do you ever just kind of say it and not have any idea what it is? And do you ever actually go back and try and figure out what it is you just described?
Well, Crispin and I do. Somebody else does.
I know everything.
Ghost in the Shell to me was such a great acting exercise because I really had no idea what I was saying for most of the technological stuff. So it was a great exercise in playing a very clear intention and sounding like I knew what I was talking about. The problem was wrapping your brain and your mouth around these words and have it come out of you as if you said it every day. When it's the first time you're ever putting these consonants with these vowels ever in your life. And it's just got to come out naturally and really it can't sound like you're focusing on the words because usually when you're talking about this stuff, it's for a completely different reason. Your intention behind it has nothing to do with the stuff that you're describing. It has to do with got to get the guy who's created this stuff, or whatever. So it was a great acting exercise in that respect. And there are many takes of me saying, I have no idea what the fuck I just said. Many, they would play that for me all the time.
It was a great acting exercise for me because I knew everything that was happening in the show and I understood all the tech, and my character hates tech.
That's the ironic part.
Tacoma is I don't want to use automatic weapons, that I want to be like Humphrey Bogart, private dick on a case. It was oh, okay, so I have to act like I hate this stuff. Okay.
The one guy that got it.
It's sad that your character hates Tachikoma. Tachikoma's adorable.
But he doesn't like Tachikomas.
I know.
I do too.
Hey.
I love Tachikoma.
Yay, power to the lovers of Tachikoma.
I don't trust these Tachikomas. I'm like, let me in one, please. Tachikoma Tacoma of my very own.
Oh, what would you do if you actually saw a real live Tachikoma? Would you really want to live in one?
I want to live in one. I just want to ride in one.
No, a really big replica. A really big replica of one. And
Road rage.
That'd be awesome.
You know, and the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that we don't get to see the scripts ahead of time. So we basically just go in the booth and we see it for the first time. So we're basically doing a performance on a cold reading. And a lot of times when you have a lot of technical jargon, it's really kind of hard to just jump in there and make that all sound very natural and normal. And, you know, sometimes it does take a take or two or three or four or five to get it to sound the way it needs to
There's a lot of once more in English. Here we go.
Yeah, but it's that's kind of the hard part of our job, because it would be nice, I guess, sometimes. Of course, we always say it would be nice if we get the script ahead of time, but when we do get the script ahead of time, we never read it anyway. So there you go. We don't have time.
Directing this original show, and the actor comes in, and I said, "So, did you like the script?" He goes, "I didn't."
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
Pretend like you know what you're doing.
Got it.
No, you should always read. If you have a chance to, you should always read the stuff before you go in, so you know what's going on. You're acquainted with the material.
That would be like acting.
It's a lot like work, isn't it? Any other questions? Yes, Rebecca.
Crispin, this is more of a request.
Do the voice.
$3.
Yes.
We want you to show them shirtless Crispin.
Can you say you done goofed in Alucard's voice?
Yes!
Oh, this is you done goofed.
Is that Alucard from Brooklyn? What?
Harry of Hellsang.
Yes, I saw that.
Actually, really damn funny. That's one of the lines in the parody.
How the Protestant Which one?
So, yeah.
Bridge, I think.
It's funny. I do
Wait, the one
like
that
that.
I don't know.
So, I don't know if you're involved in it, or, and you're probably not allowed to say if you are, but...
No, I can't. We just have to go outside. I tell you, and then I shoot you.
Happy that.
Okay.
But,
Yes, you do.
as you may be aware, Alucard is totally going to be in Lords of Shadow 2, and I'm just absolutely excited about that. And
Shadow 2.
Castlevania.
Oh. Wait a minute.
You answered my question.
My Alucard. Yeah, I was about to say, Castlevania Alucard is different from my Alucard.
Well,
There's so many kinds of a la carte.
it is because the series, the Lords of Shadow series is a reboot, and they just showed the Lords of Shadow 2 trailer, and kind of at the end of it, you know, it's kind of get a nerdgasm if you're a Castlevania fan. You're like, yeah, the white hair and the sword, that's Alucard, and I'm just like, I gotta ask her.
Okay, so I don't play Alucard in Castlevania, so is there a question you had, or?
In Symphony of the Night?
No, I've never played Alucard in Castlevania. Really? Yes.
Yes, you did.
No, did you ever play Castleguard in Pennsylvania? I played Hector in the Castlevania. What's that? I can't remember the one. The Demon Forger Hector is down. That guy. Yes, I play him, but I've never played Alucard in the Castlevania.
It'd be funny if you did.
You're tripping me out, dude. I swear, I see your name in impressions all the time. I am.
I've worked on 3 Castlevania games in my life. One where I played Matthias, one where I played Hector, and one where I voice directed. That's it.
Ooh.
It works in the parking lot.
How is it being Roy Harper in the Young Justice series?
I think I'm a clone now. That's all. Yeah. Yes. That was the weird thing about Young Justice is when we first showed up to record, I'm playing Speedy, Red Arrow, and I also played Guardian. And I said, okay, Guardian's bigger, buffer. So you want a bigger buffer voice? No, not so much. Why? Well, he's related to Red Arrow, so he should have pretty much the same Oh, okay. All right. And then later on, for those of you who have seen the end of the first season, Arsenal shows up, who is also related to Red Arrow. And I'm like, so do you want a different? No, because he's
related.
I'm playing like 3 or 4 characters all with the same voice.
Yeah, they're related.
It's freaking me out.
That makes me happy
Yeah.
in one respect because I have an identical twin, and whenever we cast twins, I say to my boss, "Well, we'll just cast one person for both." And he said, "Why?" I said, "Because and I actually called my twin sister and said, talk to my boss."
Yeah, see.
And he's like, "Oh my God, you have identical voices." And I said, "So hire the same actor."
Yeah.
There's no reason. Yeah.
Yeah. So that, I mean, it's cool. I like playing the angsty guy. Of course, they're not going to. There are certain things from the comic books that are not going to make it into the animated series. You know, things
Beyond
like,
rated.
huh?
Beyond rated.
No, I mean like certain aspects of Red Arrow's character. If you've ever read the comic books of Red Arrow, you know that he becomes a heroin addict and has an illegitimate child. And the first day, yeah. I like watching it. I was like, so do I get track marks? They're like, okay. So they have to play down those aspects of his character.
You're going to tell them the Kaiser Soze was too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Sure. Sherlock Holmes.
No, the Red Arrow thing. I was in the comic books for. That's the thing about Young Justice is every time we go in and record something, I would think they were making it up. The first episode of Young Justice, they have to go raid Cadmus, this lab where there's all these weird genomes, and they're doing these cloning things of Superman to make Superboy. And I'm reading all this in the script and going, they're making this crap up. I get on Wikipedia and I go, no, it's canon. That was actually in the comic books. They're not making anything up. Okay, all right. And, you know, the crazy stuff would show up in the show. I'm like, is it? No, it's canon. Yeah, it's been in the comics for at least a decade. Okay, fine.
He'd be surprised with you.
It's like the 16th generation of that same story.
Yeah, exactly. It's been reiterated so many times.
Yeah.
Sure. Actually, 2 questions. Richard, I remember you voiced Isao Ota in Wasted 13. Did you ever go back and watch any of the other Cat Labor series where that was?
I didn't. I'm glad you reminded me it was Pat Labor. When you said Wasted 13, I thought you were talking about my youth. No, I haven't. I had also directed that one as well. That was the animation in that was phenomenal. It was just a beautifully done movie.
Didn't Oshii direct that?
Perhaps. I don't know, but it was beautifully done. No, I didn't know because I think we did the third one. There was these two that went before it, and I had watched them a little bit because they wanted me to kind of watch the other stuff, but I don't remember seeing that character anywhere else.
The second one's from Mary Elizabeth.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be married to the guy who voices Cosmo on Fairly Odd Parents?
It's amazing because he can't do that voice quietly at all. So it's almost like, and I think consequently I have a little bit of hearing damage. I just love it. He gets recognized every now and then at Vaughn's, and there's a little kid going, either Nesty Classified or Big Time, well, not Big Time Rush, he's got that kid on but from Gordy, and I'll turn to the kid and go, do you watch Gordy? I'm like, yeah? Do the voice. I'm the queen of do the voice. And he'll go, Philip! Or, I can't believe, because he was also Spotswood in Team America, so he's got this unbelievably deep, resonant voice, and yet he can go way up high.
As if he got kicked in the balls.
Who's your acting, Gary?
Yeah.
I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan, so one of the main reasons I came, especially was to meet Mr. Epcar and as the voice of Xehanort.
And handsome, don't forget handsome.
And handsome.
He is handsome.
I was curious, when you first got the job, when somebody said, hey, we're going to smash Kingdom Hearts, we're going to smash Disney and Final Fantasy together, did you really think it would take off the way that it did? And also with Dream Drop coming out next month, which I'm sure everyone's looking forward to.
Yes.
You also get voice young pair, I don't want to spoil anything for by Sleep People. Xehanort again, but is there anything that you can say about where Dream Drop Distance will lead into? Because I didn't think at 18 I'd be playing Kingdom Hearts, and almost 30 I would still not get to play Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, we're all waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3, and hopefully it'll come out someday.
Someday, somewhere, over the rainbow.
Quick story. I'll try to make it quick. It's kind of a funny story how I got the part. Actually, how I got the part to play Ansem was because the guy who plays Ansem in Japan does Batou. So I don't know if you guys know this. Billy Zane did Ansem originally in the original game, and for whatever reason, he didn't want to do it, or they couldn't get him, or he pooped in their salad, or something. Or he wasn't probably salad. Yeah. So the producers in Japan said, "Well, who plays Batou in America?" And they said, "Well, Richard Epcar." So they just cast me, which was great because that doesn't happen very often. Usually you have to go in and audition and do all that crap. So I got the part. It was great. So the first day I show up, and there's 6 Disney guys in the booth, and there's 6 Japanese clients in the booth. And I would do a line, and the engineer would come on and talk back, and say, "Just a minute," and they would talk amongst themselves for like 5 minutes. And he'd come back on the talk back and say, "Could you do that a little slower?" So I do the line a little slower, and they go, "Just a minute," and they would talk amongst themselves. And he'd come back and say, "Can you do that a little faster?" So this like went on all day long, and I was ready to jump off a cliff by the end of it. And, finally, we got a break, and I took the engineer aside. I said, "How did Christopher Lee put up with this?" And they said, "Well, they did it to him once," and then he said, "All right, I'm going to tell you how we're going to do this. I'm going to read this script from the top to the bottom, then I'm going home." I thought, how cool is that? I wish I could do that, but I just was kind of just starting out now. Now that I've done about 5 or 6 of them, maybe I can pull that too. But they've been a lot nicer since then, so I think they just kind of wanted to work me in. But what was the question again? Does that answer your question?
I was just asking that, like, when you first.
I honestly didn't know anything about the game at all, so when you said they commingled Final Fantasy and the other, I had no idea what it was. I just showed up, they booked me, and I had no idea what it was, and I had to rely on the directors and everybody to kind of direct me, and that's kind of what happened.
I was supposed to direct the company who got it lost it.
It happens a lot.
It does.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
When Bandai decided to re-release the Laughing Man in Individual 11, did they even contact you guys?
No. Those rat bastards. It's not that we're bitter or anything.
It's not as good.
I've never heard it.
It really isn't as good.
Everybody says it's not as good. The thing that doesn't make any sense about that was that they had all of our stuff anyway. All they had to do was basically just do the connective tissue stuff and have us replace that. You know what he's talking about?
They did the shortened version.
They took all the episodes of Laughing Man, and I guess they made like a movie or something.
Yeah.
But then they revoiced the entire thing.
So all the standalone stuff was taken out.
In Canada. And it's like,
They did it in
why?
Canada because they wanted to do it non-union. They wanted to pay residuals.
They did.
They wanted to do it
It's no excuse.
cheap. Sorry.
Cheap bastards.
It happens. It's a business decision. I can't fault them for that. The economy is not great. The business isn't great right now. You got to try and save money where you can.
Sure.
But I think it does a disservice to the show. Personally, nothing against the actors. I've never heard it. They're probably amazing. But it's for people who know the show. It'd be like recasting.
Well,
we're beloved, aren't we? Come on.
Yes, Sherlock! Woo!
They tried to be.
They tried to be you guys, and they failed miserably. Bastards.
Well, there you go.
Wow. Is that going to land in the bay?
Here's the
Yeah, there's a hospital like right next door.
They underestimate the fans, and they think nobody's going to notice it if they do that. And people notice it. They do. They don't like it. And I don't know, it happens all the time. Usually it's over money, but it's a shame because it probably, if they had us do it, it probably wouldn't have been that much more money for them. And the fans would have liked it that much more, I think. So.
Well, when Sony got the Cowboy Bebop movie, there was talk about casting, getting celebrities and stuff.
No, they should not do that.
Key to that, fighting and fighting for the original cast to do it again.
No one else could be fighting Steve.
No.
Yeah. No.
They wanted to do that. Thinking about putting celebrities in there, so you might have had Johnny Depp as Batou.
No.
Angelina Jolie.
Ew. God.
Who is not asking questions?
You did fill it out.
No, yeah.
With Ghost in the Shell, Motorco is obviously a very strong lead. You don't really see that very often. How do you think that the world and the technology of Ghost in the Shell allows that to exist? And how do you think that not only the female editor they appreciate by being able to say, pick anybody you want and choose it, whatever. How does that affect not only female editors, but also it's a big theme in this series. I want you to kind of get what you guys think of that.
Well, I think being able to, it's funny, you look in the mirror every day and you identify yourself with this shell that we are all in. We all have individual shells. If you have the capacity to, like, have you ever walked by your mirror and just like, oh my God, I completely forgot that's what I look like. You know, I mean, there's just, you become so much of an individual and such a strong person that you stop identifying yourself with the physical form and you start mainly identifying yourself with your actions and with the choices that you make. So much so that sometimes you get lost in terms of, oh, that's right, I'm a woman, and actually I am reminded of that every now and then, and there's in different cultures, you go overseas somewhere, and I'm a very strong individual, and I don't see myself as, I know I have a female persuasion, but I'm a human being, so I just go over and act like a human being, and they're just like, well, you're a woman, and I'm like, really? We're still there? That's where we still are in 2012. We're still there. That's fascinating to me. So there were moments when I was like, if I could just dive into the net, that would be great, and because I wouldn't have to deal with that, and you could sort of your physical persona could be a complete manifestation of your inner self. You know, how cool would that be? Every day your colors change, your hair changes, and you're plumbing everything, just depending on whatever mood you're in, or you know, whatever choices that you're making. And I don't know that the technology will ever be there to do that, but I think right now on the internet, you can basically go on Facebook and create a whole new persona, someone that has nothing to do with you as a physical being. I think that's really interesting. I think it can be dangerous because there's a lot to, you know, from The Fly, it's missing the flesh. We need the flesh. There's something, that's who we are, so we need to have a constant, you know, balance between the two. I don't know if that begins to answer your question.
I'd just like to add to that real quickly about the show. And the thing that appeals to me really about the show is the morality of the use of the technology. Because I think that a lot of the stuff on the show is stuff that's going to happen in the very near future. And I think the way that we decide to use that technology can be wonderful and fantastic and can be used to help people, but I also think that there's a very evil application to all that stuff too. And I think that's what these characters deal with a lot of times is how do we control this, or how do we regulate this so that it doesn't hurt people, or use it so it's a good thing, and I just think that to me is really fascinating, the whole aspect of the show.
But you could, because you understood this technology more than you know.
I have to be honest and I say I'm not sure I would agree necessarily that anime lacks strong female heroes. When I look at Miyazaki films, I see a lot of strong female heroes. When I look even at, and I think from my perspective, the idea, if what you're appreciating about Ghost in the Shell is that Motoko is a strong female character and has agency in the story, that's awesome. And I think that's great. And I think that technology, on one level, I'm not sure it's technology that enables that. I think it's culture. Because if you're a girl and you get on a game online to play, you're going to have to deal with a lot of chauvinism. You know, the online gaming world is pretty crappy when it comes to chauvinism. And so I feel like it's the culture that dictates what's going to happen, not necessarily the technology. What I think is cool about Ghost in the Shell is the idea of having the flexibility of one's avatar. But I think it's interesting then that Motoko, who could have anybody she wants, chooses a real cheesecake body, right? She does not choose like, you know, an Amazonian, you know, Katie Sackhoff Starbuck type body. She chooses a real sort of extremely voluptuous cheesecake body. And you have to deal with that. Like, you have to deal with that.
Not the voice.
So not the voice.
Is not, and that's what I sort of love about her, is that I either play villains, Pepperidge Farm remembers, or, you know, guys. So to have a woman with this voice have that kind of strength in that body, for me, was a complete anomaly and a complete just pleasure. It was so unusual.
It is subversive in a wonderful way, the same way that I actually go through my life sort of subversively. I, you know, dress like a metrosexual. But when I open my mouth, the voice that comes out has a sort of resonance and power to it that takes people really by surprise. And I go, you have to deal with that. You have to deal with the fact that I'm not going to subscribe to your gender roles. I taught archery at summer camp one year, and it was back when I had really long hair. So I looked extremely sort of flamboyant, and I would walk out with this Rambo compound bow, and I would nail, you know, arrows into targets from 50 yards away and go, want to come play? And you had to deal with that. You had to deal with that. I was the only one at camp who could pull back my bow. Every guy there thought he was so good. They couldn't pull back my bow because it's not about your biceps. It's actually about your back muscles. And so they literally be going, and I'm like, sorry, you know, I don't know what to tell you. You know, like, call me Legolas. You know, that's what I do.
And point break at the same time.
And we're there, right? So I think.
I love that you say you have to deal with it because, you know, people, you know, it's like, you're a guy, you sound like a guy, you've got a deep voice, and it's just like, that's how you deal with that. That's how I've somehow unmanned you in some way, because I have a deep voice, and I've had a deep voice since I hit puberty, and it's just, that's the way it's been, you know, so.
Yeah. I'm sorry my diversity offends your sensibilities.
Yeah. Like I don't fall into feminine, not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just the total polar opposite of this. You know, it's like.
And I think that's what I really have. I think that's why I was attracted to anime as a child, because different cultures have different archetypes. Different characters are allowed. For whatever reason, the Japanese really love the Razor Girls. For those of you who know cyberpunk, that's sort of what Motoko is. Like these really kick-ass women who are also sexy. They don't have to be butch. They can be both sexy and vicious at the same time. And that's not something that America knows how to deal with unless it's the villains. You can have Catwoman. You can have Poison Ivy. You can have Harley Quinn, where they're just completely objectified. But the hero like that is sort of tricky in American culture, where it's not Japan. And so.
But that's from the game.
Yeah, it's from the game. The game will work a little differently at times because the game will is so heavily influenced by Japan.
Welcome to Florida.
From culture and looking at what's allowed in their storytelling, we are allowed to Japanese are allowed to have beautiful villains. You know, the Bishonen. We don't do that in America. So when I saw they did the anime thing for, I think it was for Iron Man. It was one of the early trailers. It was up on YouTube. It was, you know, the Japanese do Iron Man. Yeah, the Japanese do Iron Man, right? I mean, the mechanics are going to be fantastic, and so they were. But during the trailer, it cuts the villain, and the villain was this very pretty Aryan Nazi guy with this blonde. He was gorgeous. I was like, that's never going to fly. And like, we just can't. In America, you know, we must be the Joker or Two-Face or Doc Ock, or you know, you can't have an attractive, sympathetic villain.
It's not with me right now. It's in my room. I don't know the I'm not sure if you're trying to.
I think you can get away with a vampire. The vampire has to be sexy.
Yeah.
And we're okay with sexual vampires.
And or
something.
The vampires are young.
Yes, because you're European.
Yes.
Because all Europeans are gay.
All Europeans.
Hey!
Right?
Flamboyant.
Yeah. Go off the road sometime.
Oh, God.
Time for one more question.
Yeah. It's right after that. Like, 3:30. What time is it now? It's like a 4:30. It's like 4:30. 4:30? Yeah, 4:30. It starts at 4:30. God. How many hours are we even here?
kind of difficult to know if you should act exhausted or worn out, that kind of thing.
Depends on the oil level.
Oh, Jesus Christ, thank you, God. Oh, I'm scared when that happens.
Depends on if you had a lube job.
That's right.
My brain's a dirt.
After all, we try the meal.
I got scared a moment. I'm bad with timing. I'm a troll. So soon.
Yeah, my body's I just have it regular.
I'm a cyborg, basically. I'm kind of like the Major, so I guess. And so I probably wouldn't get tired, you know.
And she wouldn't. She'd just get frustrated, depending on or happy or whatever. I think it had more to do with what she was doing in the pursuit. If she actually caught up to whatever she was pursuing, then her more of a response to.
I didn't know you were holding on to his hand. That sounds like
That's one of the things I love.
That sounds like you were just holding
One
it.
episode where you're chasing after someone on foot, and Boss was just
It's
a machine. And he's just flying. And I love that.
Can I see the running again, please? Thank you.
I love moments like that, like in the first Ghost in the Shell movie, where Motoko doesn't blink.
Right.
You know, these long holds on her face, and then you blink, and then you realize, as an audience member, you blink, and you go, she hasn't blinked.
It's like a freaking steering contest, and you're like, damn it, I lost! Hannibal Lecter, I love him. Anthony Hopkins.
I like it when they remind you of the mechanical nature of things. Because it used to be that the mythology was turn the targeting computer off, Luke, and destroy the Death Star just with the Force. Everybody, turn off your cell phones now. No, right? Our computers are now our spirit animal, and so we have to work out what that relationship with that spirit animal is. And so I think it's useful for a show like Ghost in the Shell to say, all right, how do we work out our emotional relationship with this mechanical thing that we created?
Yeah.
It's this world we made for ourselves. How are we going to find a way to live in it?
Yeah.
There was
still stay human.
There was a really interesting in the first movie, which unfortunately.
I was only 5 years old there with you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I remember.
But there's a thing where Motoko had to submerge herself in water all the time. She would just basically go into the water. And it was really kind of fascinating that was kind of her refuge. You know, a place that she went, what's the word I'm looking for? Sanctuary.
Her sanctuary.
Yeah, where she would just get away from everything, and she wouldn't hear any sounds, and she would just...
And incredibly dangerous for her to do,
right?
Because she'll sink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Stitch.
And Bato would be on the boat, and he would bring her up, you know, so she...
And Bato has the same thing with the Basset Hound.
Yeah.
He chooses the most high-maintenance dog on the planet to have some sort of reconnection to the physical, to the body.
And he also works out constantly, and he doesn't have to because he has all this cybernetic stuff. But he loves just the physical act of working out. It grounds him and makes him feel more human, so he does that. And it's just kind of the interesting stuff that they put in all of our characters. It just really fascinating.
Well, thanks so much, you guys. I think we're on. Anything signed or anything going down to our signing? Because I think that's where we're going.
Oh, sweet.
4 o'clock in the vendor service when they're going to be signed.